Hello my dear friends, my name is Sanne and welcome back to another beauty video. And today I'm fully in spooky mode. It's almost Halloween. I'm so excited. Like 2 weeks ago I uploaded a Halloween anti-haul video and you guys seem to really enjoy that video, but like I mentioned then, I did not even get to like half of all the Halloween collections that have actually come out this year, and I have forgotten a few ones and such. So I asked if there are any collections that you want me to talk about, let me know. And I'll get to a second part and talk about them then, which is what we're doing today. I got a few comments like, I can't believe you missed this collection, or I can't believe you missed that collection. I'm including them all here. Let's hope I get most of them done this time, because this is the last time I'm doing this. I can't do this for like every single week. I can't do Halloween collections every single week. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, I'll link it somewhere up here and down below so you can watch that one first or after. It doesn't really matter. It's not like a sequel or whatever. I think today I'm gonna mainly be talking about indie makeup collections, because I mostly covered all of the big mainstream ones in the previous video already, so today it's gonna mostly be indie collections. It's gonna be exciting. Let's quickly jump into it. And of course, if you have any thoughts on these collections, let me know in the comments. I want to hear all your opinions as well. Very exciting. So first of all, I want to talk about a collection which I find first of all extremely exciting, because someone I adore got to make pictures for this collection, and it's the new Terra Moon's lip glosses. I don't know if these are like actually classed as a Halloween collab, but this is kind of like similar to the Trixie collab I talked about in the previous video. Amazingly cool black lip glosses and such that are released during October. I'm personally just gonna classify them as a Halloween collection. And these glosses are just so incredibly cool. Like every single shade is intriguing to me, but especially that one that's like black. It's like black with some kind of deep blue shimmer in it, like a glitter, and it looks magical. And also just a black lip gloss that is that pigmented. Sign me up, please. These look absolutely gorgeous. I'll write this down for future reference. If they still sell them and I'm ever placing a Terra Moon's order, I might be getting one of these, because these just look magical. I just really want to try one. And then next up we have a palette that I somehow missed. I don't know why. But this is the Pastel Roses Halloween palette. It is the Ghost Show palette, and it has the Ghost Glow highlighter with it. The palette confuses me a tiny bit. I do really like the outside packaging. The outside packaging is really freaking cute. But the inside confuses me a tiny bit, just because the Pastel Roses is mainly known for doing like insane shimmers. And then we get a palette that's mostly mattes, which I'm not that bothered by. There are some beautiful shimmers in there as well, and you get a great mix. But it just confused me a tiny bit to see that. It doesn't really matter. I think the mattes are just a very generic Halloween color scheme. And you kind of have all the colors you need, which is not something I need in my collection at all. Maybe like a harsh opinion. Never think it looks nice, because like it's a rainbow, but it's not a rainbow and some colors are missing. And I don't know. It just looks very generic. But one thing I must say for palettes like this, if you do a lot of like actual Halloween makeup with a lot of face paints and such, having a palette like this with these basic matte shades in them that are used in almost every single Halloween look is a great base palette to have and to use in every single look. And for that purpose it's perfect, so that does fit the vibe. But for just doing normal eyeshadow looks or something colorful and a bit more glam, I personally can't really see it happening with this palette. But that's just me and my lack of creativity maybe. It's not a bad palette, it has its purpose I think. It's just not for me. And then let's talk about what I think is probably gonna be the most popular Halloween release of this year. It's the Scooby-Doo collab by Glamlight. I just want to immediately say how much I love this collab. It's done so well. It's beautiful. Every detail on the packaging makes sense. The amount of products makes sense. The colors make sense. It's just, oh, it's done so extremely well. It's beautiful. And then when focusing on the palettes, the eyeshadow palettes are actually gorgeous. Like, I've been tempted. The Creeps and Crawls palette has these beautiful, deep, like, gemstone kind of vibe colors, and they are gorgeous. That's absolutely beautiful. And then the Roro Reggie palette. Oh my god, I can't. Don't ask me to pronounce that again, please. That palette is also beautiful. It gives me a bit of the Shout It's Freaking Bats palette with that murky yellowish green and the periwinkle. But it's a gorgeous color story, I must confess. The only thing that I feel like is kind of missing is maybe like an actual orange or a bright turquoise. Anything that like looks like the Mystery Machine. The outfits that the characters wear. Like, in general, the shades are beautiful and they look so nice, and it definitely gives off the spooky vibes that the movies and such also give off. I do kind of miss the bright colors that's just in the packaging, but the packaging, stunning again. I just miss those similar shades a tiny bit in the eyeshadow palettes, but that may be just me. I'm not getting any of it, but it's gorgeous. I think this is an absolutely beautiful collection, and they did really well with this. Then we actually have a Halloween collection by Cleona. I really don't know how to pronounce that. Cleona? My Dutch brain is saying Cleonat, so don't know about that. Anyway, they have some beautiful, beautiful new shadows out. They come in kind of like a purple arrangement and a bit of an orangey arrangement. There are some beautiful shades in there. But I must say, when looking at these shadows, they don't like scream Halloween tones to me. They are absolutely beautiful. I bet they are absolutely gorgeous on the eyes as well. I just personally wouldn't like gravitate towards this just because it's a Halloween collection, because it doesn't scream Halloween to me. But it's also because there is no packaging involved. And that's just the thing with single eyeshadows that happens. So absolutely no shade to them. I just don't gravitate towards these shadows. Then we have a palette that I think looks really, really cool. And it's the Deadly Sins Cosmetics Dead Pretty Eyeshadow Palette. The aesthetic with all the spider webs, really freaking cool. I love it. The coffin shape, cool. There are some lovely grungy tones in there that definitely scream like spooky fall vibes to me. I love it. A tiny bit of a hint of color with the turquoise. Absolutely beautiful. The shimmers look a tiny bit more like satiny instead of really sparkly, which is not personally my style to go for when I choose shimmers. But you know, that's just personal preference. But in general, the palette looks absolutely gorgeous. I think it's a great concept and it looks good, and it's just a decent Halloween palette. I like it. Then let's talk about a bit of a bigger collection. It's not that much bigger, but it's 4 eyeshadow palettes. They're by Unearthly Cosmetics. I had definitely followed like the reveal of these palettes, but somehow I still forgot about them. So that's a bit sad, I guess. But let's talk about them, because they're kind of like based around cool female characters in horror movies, I guess. So we have the Weirdos, which that looks to be I've never seen this movie, but from The Craft. And I think this is my favorite of the bunch, just because these are shades I think I would personally use the most. There are some beautiful greens and purples and pinks in there, which are totally up my alley. And again, a tiny bit like grungy and deep, which I gravitate towards, especially in the fall. So I think this palette would do good in my collection. I'm not gonna get it because I'm not really looking to expand my collection right now, and I'm already getting one new eyeshadow palette sometime soon, and I think that would be enough for the rest of this year at least. But if I had to choose one out of the 4, it would be this one. Then we also have the So Strange palette with Lydia Dietz on front. Very, very bright neon colors with like kind of like matching shimmers, so that's good. In my opinion, it looks just a tiny bit all over the place, but I feel like you can definitely get creative with this. And the same goes for the, I think this is Lily Munster, right? The 1964 palette. It just feels a tiny bit all over the place. But there are some unique colors in there that you can definitely get creative with. And then we have the Warms My Blood palette. And I must say that I don't know what this movie is, what movie this is from. But this is a bigger palette. This is a 20 pan. And it has like 10 really beautiful looking shimmers and 10 very grungy mattes. And they're all like neutrals. So I think this would be like a very good basic neutral palette for if you're into more deeper tones. I personally couldn't find a purpose for this in my collection, I think. They are definitely cool palettes, and the Weirdos palette, definitely some beautiful shades. Like, if it was easily available to me and I would have a budget, I would snatch that. That's really pretty. Then next up we have the, what is it? The Bella Beauté Bar Strange and Unusual palette. These shades are stunning. There are like definitely some matching shades in there, so you can easily create a match for a look. But also some really unique shades. And it takes the basic shades of like orange, purple and green to the next level. And these shimmers, they're like duochromes and multichromes all the way up in there. This must be expensive. But I think also the front art with Lydia and the sandworm is like really, really cute. And then the colors inside the palette are just really unique, and the shimmers are out of this world when you see them swatched. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, this is an absolutely beautiful palette. I would definitely find use for this. We're just gonna pretend I didn't see it. Which apparently is what I did before, because I kind of forgot about it. So I did a very good job of that. But I'm pretty sure that this one isn't sold anymore, maybe? It's really, really pretty. That's all I have to say. Then we have a very fall-centered palette instead of a very Halloween-centered palette, but I'm gonna include it anyway. This is the NBA Cosmetics Pumpkin Kisses and Autumn Wishes palette, which has some very beautiful, like, pumpkin-y fall vibes shades, like, and I feel like that's all I have to say about it as well. Packaging is kind of cute. And then we have some like very, very warm toned neutrals, some orange, a pop of green, and it feels very fall vibes. I like it, but this is also stuff that I have in my collection over and over again. It's not the most unique color story in my mind, but I do think it's pretty, and if you don't really have tones like this, it would be a really good addition to your collection to like have a palette that just focuses on these warm tones, I think. So next I want to talk about Notoriously Morbid for a bit, because they have already released a very small Halloween inspired palette, which is the Pennywise Lives palette, which is a quad. It has 4 shades. It includes a matte, a shimmer, a multichrome and a multichrome flake shimmer. And I think the swatches look beautiful. It's just a very simple palette, but that's always the issue with quads, in my opinion. And I feel like it's a bit sad that the yellow is the only matte, because the shimmers are a lot deeper than the matte. And that sometimes is an issue with like creating easy looks. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that, I think. And then they are releasing a palette next week. At least I assume it's a palette. But it has this really pretty art, and it's called Boohoo. And they haven't released anything about it, I think. I don't know, I guess we'll have to wait for that one. Maybe? Maybe if it is released while I'm still editing this, I'll just put in a picture so you can at least see. You won't have my thoughts on it. But Notoriously Morbid does have some very pretty stuff, so I'm guessing this is gonna look very pretty as well. Especially with that artwork. So, here it is. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the Martine Cosmetics Mission Triple X collection, which is a French brand. I had never heard of it before, but I saw a lot of people post about it because the aesthetic of this collection is just so cool. Like the promo pictures as well, the entire like alien aesthetic and the promo pics are just so cool. And I just really like the grungy vibes with the green. It's a cool color story, and the packaging looks really, really cool. It's so futuristic. The aesthetic is just amazing. I think it looks so cool. I never heard of this brand, but now I'm obsessed. So I can't wait to see if anyone actually gets this and what they create with it. And I want to see like swatches because it just looks really, really cool. And it's a palette with a highlighter palette. I'm also just gonna call it a Halloween collection because, you know, it's releasing in October and it's this entire alien aesthetic. Like, it has to be a Halloween collection, right? But it just looks so cool. I'm obsessed. It's really, really cool. And then I just found a few more things on Makeup Release Radar. So let's talk about those. First off, we have some LA Colors palettes. They look a bit childish to me, but I also think they're kind of fun, and it screams like knockoff Monster High, you know? With the very cool girlies that are inspired by monsters or whatever. There's a witch, a spotted devil, some like Frankenstein babe, I guess. And it's called Hello Queens. It's a bit cringe to me, but the palettes do look cute. Like, I like the entire black one. The one with the red looks fun, but also the pink with the turquoise and the purple. Like, those are all my favorite colors in one palette. They look pretty cute, so... And they're like, oh my gosh, they're only $2. So, if I would run into these in the store, which I probably won't because I don't live in the US, I would definitely get like one of these, I think. Just to try. For like $2, yeah, I'd try them. And then finally we have one more Nightmare Before Christmas collection. Is it the only one this year? I think so. But this is by Mad Beauty, which... I spot that brand like every once in a while, but it confuses me a bit. Because it always has the exact same collabs as some very big mainstream brands, like at the same time as well. Some things look a bit similar, some things look like some sort of dupe. So I just don't know. Like, I don't even know if this is like a legit collab they're allowed to do. I'm guessing it is. But they often have like pretty cool packaging. It's just really interesting to me that they can have the exact same collabs as some other brands like at the same time. That just intrigues me. Like the Baby Yoda collab, the Winnie the Pooh collab, it's all kind of similar to Colourpop, and the Disney villains and such stuff, and princesses, which is kind of similar to what Essence has put out around the same time. There's the Friends collab that Makeup Revolution also had. I don't know, it just confuses me. And then now they have the Scooby-Doo stuff at the same time as Glamlight has their Scooby-Doo stuff. Anyway, let's talk about this Nightmare Before Christmas collection that they have going on. They have 2 eyeshadow palettes, a Jack eyeshadow palette and a Sally eyeshadow palette, which is also the exact same way Makeup Revolution had it, like last year or the year before. I must say these palettes look boring to me. They're just browns, nothing interesting. The lip balm duo is kind of cute because it's just the pumpkin head and then the Jack Skellington head. That's kind of cute. Some body wash thingies, a lot of things just with this face on it. I don't like the art that much. It's very simplistic, which, you know, you should like. And it's not bad. And with the temporary tattoos, it feels a bit like, oh yeah, they did it in some kind of tattoo style. And then it fits quite well. I don't know. They also have a advent calendar. That's interesting. So quite a lot. And like I said, the brand confuses me. It's not a bad collab, but the only thing that usually would interest me, which is the eyeshadow palettes, are not interesting at all to me right now. So that was another attempt at a Halloween anti-haul video. Part 2, hopefully this time. I managed to get most of everything that wasn't mentioned in the previous video. So hopefully I let no one down. But if you ever want my opinion on anything, you can always just DM me, because I love to chat about stuff, which is why I make videos, you know, it's makes sense. Let me know what you think of all these collections. Is there anyone that kind of jumped out to you that you were really interested in? Did you get anything yourself? Let me know. I'm really curious to hear. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. If you want to see even more from me, my blog, my socials, and my gaming channel, and everything else you need to know about me is all linked down below, so you can check that out as well. And it's gonna be it for me today. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Toodles!